Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right actually today.
Good.
I'm just chuckling about on our pre-recording conversations about side profiles.
We are. You don't know what your side profile looks like.
Oh, wow.
Till you
Now
see it
I
on
do.
the video.
So anyway, today we're going to talk about to help your kid talk about mental health. Because I think it's a really tricky thing that parents, we don't get the how do you do it bit.
No. Again, there's no handbook.
There's no handbook.
Is there? And
it's elusive parent handbook that covers everything.
Yeah.
Maybe we should create it.
I think we should. And the main pages would be, there's no handbook.
That would be it.
It can feel scary, and it's okay to not know what you're doing or what
Yeah.
you're saying.
It reminds me of, that animation film Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like, what's the magic ingredient?
Yeah.
And there is no magic.
No.
It's like that.
It is like that. It is like that. But yeah, it's something, we want as parents, don't we, to support our kids with mental health, physical health, emotions, challenges.
Yeah.
But it can feel really daunting.
Yeah, and it's not easy. And again, we come at this from the perspective of psychotherapists as well as parents. And I have to say, even as a therapist, it's not always easy to talk about your mental health or help your kids express that bit. So it's kind of just normalising that it's okay to feel a bit out of your depth. It's all right to stumble on the words, to not know how to open up the conversations. But hopefully that's what we're going to cover today. So we're going to kind of look about why it's important, how it feels, the fears, how to open up those conversations, but also not beat yourself up.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, isn't it? Because we know if we're feeling like we can't have those conversations, or we don't know where to start, or we feel like we're not helping but we're hindering, or we're making it worse, it can just make us ourselves withdraw a bit and just think, this is really out of my comfort zone. And also that can lead you to sometimes go into a bit of panic mode. I need to get you some help. I need to get a professional in, need to take you to the doctors, because it's that panic of, well, I can't help, so we need to urgently get somebody that can. And just having those conversations and feeling a little bit more confident with the reassurance that it's okay to not know what to say, it's okay to not have all the answers. Is an important thing, I think, to remember. Yeah,
it's all right to be messy with it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it right. Like I say, as a therapist, you think I have every skill at my fingertips.
Absolutely. People say, well, you're a therapist. You must be the calmest, perfect parent in the world. No, not really. Because you can talk about this stuff and you can know it and you can, study it and have your research and advise people. But we're humans, and in that moment, we have to remember that our own emotions get in the mix.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just a hard thing, isn't it? And what we know is that if you do start talking about mental health, immediately it means that you're kind of counteracting any stigma around it.
Yeah.
You're normalising it.
Yeah.
And it's as if you talk about your physical health. So if you talk about, like, kids, try and eat well, try and move, try and get out in some fresh air. It's as normal as that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't have mental health in isolation. You can't have physical health in isolation. They both go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah.
And if your child comes home and they've hurt their knee, you probably would feel comfortable to say, oh, come here, let's sit down, let me help you, let me wipe it. What do you need? Do you need a plaster? Do you need a hug? Because physical health can sometimes feel a bit more comfortable because you can see it.
Yes.
And mental health can feel like, well, I can see they're sad, or I can see they're worried or angry, but if I ask them to come here and talk to me, what are they going to say? And then how am I going to respond? And what if I don't know the answer? So that's why I think sometimes it gets a bit tricky.
Yeah. And it does feel like that kind of out of your depth bit. But what we do know, and there's been a bit of research around this, about having early conversations around mental health will really help your kids develop resilience. It can help with addressing anxiety. So I would kind of say the earlier you can start talking about health in general, including physical health and mental health. The earlier you can do that with your kids, the better. Yeah. Obviously, if you're sat there with teenagers and you're like, well, oops, I didn't do that, don't beat yourself up. You know, it's never too late to start having those conversations. Of course. Taking a risk with it. Yeah. Some people talk about being brave, having those conversations, and actually I kind of struggle with that sometimes with, does that mean you're not brave if you're not having those conversations? You know, I'm just like, just take a risk sometimes. It's let's not say one's good or bad or brave or not brave. You're just trying your best as a parent, aren't you?
Everybody is trying their best, aren't they, with what they know. And talking about feelings can be very scary for people. Yeah. You know, it doesn't come naturally to everybody, and it's based on what's been modelled to them. Yeah. You know, if some of those emotions haven't been acceptable for them, they might feel that actually they feel very uncomfortable talking about it. But I think early years, it's so important for that early development. But like you say, if you haven't done those things, you know, I think back to what I know now, you know, I think, oh, well, if I'd have done that at that age. But, you know, we only, like I say, we're only working with what we know.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of fears that parents have around opening up these conversations. So like you said earlier, what if I make it worse? What if I say the wrong thing? I don't know the words and the phrases, or I feel like my kid knows more than I do about this sort of thing. Yeah. What sort of things do you hear?
Just those big questions, really, and that's the thing. They're big questions, aren't they? It's like, what if I make it worse? Yeah. What if I don't know what to say? What if I don't have the answers? What if they tell me something really bad and I don't know what to do? How am I going to cope with that? Yeah. So it is about taking a little bit of a risk, but with compassion to yourself. You know, I'm gonna give it a go to say, I'm recognising you might be a bit sad today. You know, I'm sensing you're a bit angry today. You know, what's going on? Is there anything I can help you with? And you might be responded to with more anger. You might be responded to with more anxiety or more sadness, but that's okay, because we can say, okay, maybe you're not ready now, but I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
And I think it's all right. Again, I think we've mentioned this on earlier episodes about saying to your kid, I don't know how to start these conversations. Yeah. So it might feel really awkward. Yeah. Or I might get it wrong, but just bear with. It's all right to be imperfect as a parent. There's this whole thing around being a good enough parent. Oh, it's so important. There's no such thing as perfection, and particularly when it comes to talking about mental health. Yeah. And you kind of, some parents might want to tread on eggshells a little bit, or getting the terms right, or not. If your kid says they don't feel listened to, it's so difficult. So just kind of lower your expectations of yourself. Be kind to yourself if you're giving it a go.
Yeah. And you've said the word before about it feeling clunky, and I think that's a really good way of explaining it. It's okay for it to feel clunky and like you're navigating something that you're not really sure about. But yeah, it's just being kind to yourself. As much as you're trying to help your kid, you're also trying to be compassionate to yourself. Yeah. And those expectations that we've got to be this perfect parent, we've got to have it all together.
Can't believe you're not a perfect parent, Shelley.
I know. Can you believe it? I'm practically imperfect in every way, just like Mary Poppins. So it is just, like you say sometimes, put the stick down. Yeah. Stop beating yourself up.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's okay to say to your kids, every time you're experiencing something for the first time, it's actually my first time as well. Yeah. It's so important. Right. Yeah, it's okay to say that. Like, kids will sometimes think, well, you're a parent, but you're an adult. You should know how to deal with it. But no, this is the first time I've ever navigated this situation ever. Yeah. And I don't know what to do, but we can work it out together. Yeah, I love that. It's okay to say that.
Yeah, to share it, I think it's a really, really good idea. And I just think it's not an easy thing. It's okay to, like we say, get it wrong. But I'd kind of like, if we were going to encourage parents when to do it, when do you reckon is a really good time to start those conversations, start opening up about, let's have a think about how someone is.
And the first thing that comes to mind is the times where it's not the best time. And then that kind of filters out when the best time might be. So times where maybe everything's a bit heated, maybe when you're going out the door, maybe when you're trying to get people's shoes on or get in the car. You know, it's those times that maybe you think, I've just got to say this, I've got to ask this question now, I've got to sort this before they go to college or school. But actually those times are probably not the best times.
Absolutely.
Because everything's going to be more heightened. People haven't got that time to just sit and to process and feel that sense of calm. So I think the best times are when you're just doing other stuff.
Normal stuff
together.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed the car conversation.
Yeah.
So taking the long route to Mackie D's.
Yeah. Yeah, just
and
having more time.
Just having those, because I don't know about you, but certainly as a therapist, and when I worked a lot with kids in general, I rarely did the sat opposite someone.
Yeah.
And when you go into therapy as an adult, you're often sat almost like this,
face
really.
To face,
you're doing the face-to-face thing. But as if there's any therapist listening to this, they'll know. Yeah. Really, for kids, you don't really do that because it's not doesn't quite work so well. Yeah. There's something that feels a little bit intimidating about it. It's a different sense of expectation that, oh my God, I now need to sit down. So you wouldn't do that as a parent.
No.
You wouldn't sit there and go, right, I'm going to sit like this. We now need a conversation about, God.
Yeah.
Imagine
it's really
if
intimidating. I mean, even you doing that, I'm like, oof, it's
God,
like a bit uncomfortable. Like, are you going to tell me off? Are you going to, what's going to happen? So, side by side, if you're doing the washing up, brilliant. You're having a chat. If you're at the dinner table, going for a walk in the car. I think it's just generally when the focus isn't purely on that conversation. You can build that conversation into, well, how's it been this week? That tricky situation you spoke about last week, how's that going? How's so-and-so today? How did this feel today? Just regular check-ins, I think. Just normalising the check-ins can help then to build your confidence in having more maybe difficult conversations. Yeah.
And just like you say, it's that low-level entry. Don't do it when all emotions are high. You're in that stressful situation. I'd definitely go low level, no stress, where there's no drama. And even outside the house can be really good, like I was saying, and in the car, or if you just gone out for a bite to eat or something. And like you say, the focus isn't we've got to have this serious conversation. It just takes the pressure off for everyone involved.
100%. And even when you're talking about therapy with kids, and like you, I've worked with different age children and young people, and the most powerful conversations you can have that are based around emotions is when you're doing something with that young person. So whether you're making a collage, whether you're painting, drawing, squidging something, playing Jenga, playing Connect 4. It's those, even, sorting out a doll's house, in the sand tray, whatever you're doing, it's those things where it's naturally those conversations that come out about, oh, this would happen with this, or oh, this happened, oh, that colour reminds me of this, or oh, that picture reminds me of this difficult time. And it's those, because the focus isn't on, okay, so tell me about why you're struggling. It's just being in the moment.
Low pressure.
Low pressure, and being present as much as you possibly can.
And we said this before. Put your phone down. Put your phone down. Try and be in the room. Be really listen. Especially if your kid starts opening up a bit, that is just an absolute gift, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we were saying before that sometimes, your kid might be saying to you, you're not listening, you're not hearing me, you just don't get it. And actually, when you reflect back on a conversation, you think, well, no, I wasn't hearing you. Because I was so in my own head, or so consumed with my own emotions of, I've got 10 minutes to have this conversation, or I've got 5 minutes
go out the door.
I've got to do the dinner, so I've got to make sure I've checked in, or I've said this. And actually, your whole nervous system yourself isn't settled. So you're not really hearing, you're not really listening.
It can be difficult though, I suppose what we're saying here is, on the one hand, go easy on yourself, but then we're also going, use some sophisticated skills. So it might feel like this is a bit of a conflict for you as a parent, because we're like, low pressure, but try and listen right.
Yeah.
Which isn't.
And
Not
it can
always
feel
easy.
like there's a lot of pressure, can't it? You're trying to be kind to yourself, but also reduce the pressure. But, you know, if you think about it, that does feel like conflict, doesn't it? It feels like a bit of a battle. But naturally, that's how it feels in the moment. So I think it is just trying to breathe, just trying to take a few moments to ground yourself before you have any conversation.
Yeah, check in with yourself. How am I?
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Before I'm going to sit, and we're sat, we're in the car, we're off to have a sneaky Nando's.
Yeah.
We call it sneaky Nando's in our house because we feel like we're sneaking up. And then take a breath before you start. Just check in. Let your nervous system just settle.
Yeah. And we all will be able to connect with times where maybe your child has been anxious and you're anxious, and it feels like a whole chaotic, tangled thing that's going on in the room. And actually, when you think back, you think, well, I don't know what bit was my anxiety, what was their anxiety, and it gets so enmeshed sometimes. You just like, it is very clunky, very chaotic, and you're not too sure what's going on. So even if it gets to that stage where you've tried and you've been swept away with your own anxiety, it's okay. If you recognise that, it's just okay to, right, I'm just going to take a minute. It's getting a bit, heightened. It's getting a bit heated. I'm just going to take a minute. You take a minute. You sit there. I'm going to just go and have a drink of water, go outside, and then let's come back. Because resetting can really help you, both of you, or all three or four of you, or whoever you're trying to support. It just to have a minute, just to regulate your feelings. That thermometer just to calm down. Yeah. And then when you come back together, you can kind of clearly see it.
Yeah.
And maybe look at it a bit differently.
Yeah. And I think the thing that always pops in my head is kids look at you as a parent to have all of the answers.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have all of the answers. This is what quickly unravels. Yeah. You're never going to have all of the answers.
No.
So it's all right to take a minute or to say, you know what, I really don't know. I don't know what to do in this situation. Or I don't know how best to help you. Yeah. But let's try and find out together. So to kind of get each other on side, really.
And imagine that you're on like that path together.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it feels like your child, or however, again, whatever age they are, is asking you a question, and you feel like immediately you've got to take the lead. Yes. You've got to, know what to do and make a plan. But actually you're on this journey together, and it's about being curious together, isn't it, sometimes, and just exploring things. How did you deal with that last week? Did that work? Did it not work? What can I do? And also just sometimes saying, I know I didn't handle it right. Yes. And maybe next time what I should do is this, but what do you think I should do? Yeah. And, sometimes even just showing that vulnerability as a parent, it helps your child to say, actually, what I'd rather you do is just do this.
Yeah. And kids can be really little when you ask them that.
Yeah, of course.
They can say, I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
Or when you told me to calm down, which is never a useful thing to say.
We know that's
that wasn't good. A kid can definitely feed that back to you from quite early on. You'll get
you get the sense very early on.
So I just wanted to ask you about, because we talked before we came kind of here to record it, we were talking about telly.
Yes.
So you were talking about this really useful way that you approach watching telly.
Yeah. So one of the things when you're thinking about just opening up conversations about mental health and well-being is to use the media, because it's something as a family that you will do. You will watch films, you will watch TV together, you might listen to music, watch music videos, social media even.
Yeah, and we spoke a little bit about that in terms of watching adolescents.
Yeah, absolutely, because watching TV, whether it brings up tricky things, or the character is sad or anxious, or there's some kind of difficult scenario, you're thinking, oh, that's uncomfortable, talk about it. If you've watched that together and it feels uncomfortable, it's okay to say, oh, that was a bit uncomfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder how that person feels when that person's just said that. And one of the things I was mentioning to you is about Love Island.
Yeah.
Because...
look how we chuckle.
Yeah, we do. Because Love Island actually goes against a lot of what I believe in about body image and self-esteem and mental health and being who you are. And I encourage lots of people to value their own strengths and talents and, and to shine in their body, in their mind. And when you watch Love Island, it can feel like, well, that's completely the opposite to that. And I've had some comments in the past where they've said, I can't believe you watch Love Island. How can you watch it? You know, surely that is not something you believe in. But actually, I find it really, really helpful to normalise conversations and to have those conversations with young people I work with, you know, my own children, their friends, other people, just to kind of say, yeah, when that happened, when that person was made to watch that video, oh my goodness, can you imagine how that must feel? Can you imagine, you know, if this person's wearing a certain outfit and somebody's criticising them and, you know, then they can't get away from that on social media after and people watching those videos after. Can you imagine what that does to your self-esteem and your self-worth? It's okay to normalise that, because if you don't have these conversations about things that maybe people are watching, kids will just formulate their own truth.
Yeah, because they'll be watching it anyway.
Yeah. And if they're not watching it on TV, they'll probably see clips on social media. They'll probably hear things at school, college, people talking about it. And if they can actually step in to a conversation that's maybe happening and say, actually, I was thinking that person might be quite sad.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking, well, goodness me, that's probably going to affect them quite negatively.
Yeah.
Then you've introduced another concept
that
is more connected to the truth and reality, rather than just letting them go along with what they're seeing and coming to their own conclusion.
Yeah. That's I really love how you've had to wrestle with.
Yeah.
It's not something that you'd necessarily go, that's what I'm going to watch, but you're using it as a tool.
Yeah. And also, you know, sometimes you do want to, as much as I work in mental health and therapy, sometimes I am drawn to watching things that are similar to my job. So you end up being drawn to watching those things, you know, in your own time and things like that. So, but judgment is so harsh.
So harsh.
I think as parents, the judgment is, that's why it gets tricky, because we feel like, but what would people think if they knew I did this? Or what would people expect of me to be able to deal with that situation?
Yeah.
And it's the fear of judgment. It's the fear of what people think. And
and what you think for yourself. I mean, we are worse judges, can't we?
Yeah.
And also, I really like the idea of you using either some sort of media, telly, films, whatever it is, and it kind of takes the focus away from you having the answers to let's discuss how that person might feel who's one step removed. So you can kind of get some insights on how your child thinks about things, their viewpoint on the world, without you necessarily saying, so what is your view on body image, for example, or what is your view on this thing? Because they'll be sharing it with you because they're talking about someone else. Yeah. And it's just a really lovely way in.
It's a
to
lovely,
open a door up of finding out a big chunk of what your kid's actually thinking without asking them what they're thinking.
That is so true, because it's such a lovely feeling when you hear them talk about something and recognise that somebody else, through that film or story or a situation, that they might be struggling. Or what if they've actually, you know, struggling with this and that person doesn't know, and they pick up on that, and you think, what a lovely thing. You're actually seeing, you know, their kind of truth, their personality.
It really gives you a bit of insight. So I think that's a lovely thing to use. So watch stuff with your kids.
Don't be scared to watch stuff that people are saying don't watch, you know, as long as it's age appropriate and you're comfortable with it. If it brings up uncomfortable scenes or difficult feelings, or you think, oh my goodness, they've seen that scene and now they're going to think that, you know, talk about it. If you feel it, if your gut's telling you it's uncomfortable, if it was sad, or it frustrated you a bit, just normalise it. Just say, oh, that was a bit weird. That was a bit strange.
I just think that's such a good idea. And also, I think in terms of conversations, I would kind of encourage us all to think little and often, rather than we need to have the talk. You know, oh my God, that's just terrifying, isn't it?
It is scary.
Anyone who, you know, even as an adult, says, I really need to talk to you about this. It's like, oh my God. But if you just can have little check-ins all along the way, that will really help you. It will totally normalise that talking about mental health is part of your everyday conversation.
And
so
just talking,
little.
And it's not even just removing like the pressure to to talk about mental health, but just building it into your day, your week, like you say, like checking in, how's your day?
Yeah.
Anything good happened today? Anything difficult happened today? Or what you do next week? It's, again, just normalising it, because the mental health and emotional conversations will come out of naturally having the normal day-to-day conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than not talking about anything and then waiting for something to happen and then needing to talk about it.
Yeah, then having a big crisis, like now we need to talk about mental health. It's like, no. Let's normalise it in the everyday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's loads of things that you can do to help your kid by just having these little check-ins. But like you were saying about age appropriate, just tailor it to where your kid is at.
Yeah, and sometimes just thinking about the things you can do that doesn't actually involve in talking, not verbal.
Yeah.
Is it that somebody needs a hug? Is it that they need an arm around the shoulder? Is it that they need help with getting something ready and you've noticed that they're getting a bit overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Those things matter. And like a little text message just to say, oh, hope you have a nice day. Or, think about those things that do feel maybe a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
That isn't connected to talking.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so any final thoughts before we get another brew? I think mine's gone cold.
I think I know we need to. That's it. Well,
need a
make
refresh.
sure all parents out there, make sure you make time to have a brew. But also, final thoughts is just, again, put the stick down.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself.
Little and often.
It can feel like there's a lot of pressure, and keep breathing.
Yeah.
And you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
you're doing an amazing job.
You're doing the best you can with the skills you've got.
Absolutely. Your best is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And on that note.
Yeah. Let's have a cup of tea.